Alright, so we left off, oh my gosh, with everything going dark after Roz fell when she was trying to escape the Ricos. And then this incredible, super dramatic, just 2 pages of darkness. And then that was where we left off. Kind of a cliffhanger, to say the least. But we're going to continue today. Chapter 79, The Designer. Looks like we've got a new character. Now, if this was in class, we would have a incredibly riveting discussion, making predictions. Maybe I would show this picture, talk about designer. We would talk about what that means and who that was, who that might be, or what we think. But we can't do that now. But I bet you're all having lots of thoughts about this sort of an old lady looking person. But yeah, can't tell if she looks nice or what her intentions are. Guess we'll find out. Alright, the designer. Roz awoke slowly. She was surprised to be waking up at all. The fall from that building should have destroyed her, and yet here she was. But where was she? Everything was dark and silent. Was this where robots go when they die? No, as her systems activated, the real world came into focus. She saw white walls and floors, and she heard the hum of machinery in the background. Roz was somewhere inside the robot factory where she had been made. A pile of robot parts lay on the floor. The parts were smashed and mangled. It took a moment for Roz to realize she was looking down at her own broken body. It took another moment for her to realize she was now nothing more than a robotic head. Oh my gosh, it's sort of scary. Her head was sitting atop an electronic box that powered her computer brain. Roz still had her thoughts and her voice, but without a body, she couldn't move. So she sat there, completely helpless, and waited for the makers to appear. The makers did not appear. Instead, Roz heard soft footsteps, and an old woman appeared. She was elegant, with white hair and red lipstick and black clothes. Flowery perfume wafted behind her. Every detail about the woman was neat and precise, except for her fingers, which were smudged with dark grease. "Welcome back, Roz," said the woman, wiping her hands on a rag. Kind of wish they would have showed her hands instead of having them in her pocket in the picture. I know when I read details like that and there's a picture, sometimes I look to the picture to see if it matches up, and the greasy fingers made me want to check the picture, but oh well. Sorry, I missed last. I wasn't sure I'd get your computer brain working again. You took quite a spill out there. How do you feel? Roz just stared. "You don't have to pretend anymore," said the woman. "I know you're not a normal robot. Everyone knows. You made that perfectly clear when you led the Ricos on that wild chase through the city." Roz remained silent. "I watched the video of the chase. I don't know how you got those pigeons to attack our airships, but I'm more interested in the goose. You seem to be speaking with it. Can you explain this to me?" "The goose is my son," said Roz at last. "Is that so?" The woman arched an eyebrow. "Roz, I repaired your computer brain so I could talk with you. I want to know how you came to be this way, so let's talk. I'll begin by introducing myself. My name is Dr. Malovo. A long time ago, I fell in love with computers and robots, and I created a company called Tech Lab Industries. Since then, millions of robots have been produced right here in this factory, and I've designed every last one of them." Dr. Malovo leaned forward. "Roz, I designed you." That's the end of the chapter. Now, I know Roz doesn't have feelings, exactly feelings, but she's got something like feelings, and this is almost like she's kind of meeting like her mom or her dad or her parents, because if it's the person that designed her, it's kind of like a special sort of connection that Roz gets to experience here. And so far, I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling like this. I mean, I know the story, but I feel like at first I was a little bit intimidated and scared, but I feel like she might be nice. She sounds nice and seems nice, but sometimes the author gives us clues like that to kind of mislead us or make us sort of start to trust a character, and then there's a twist. So I don't know. I'm a little skeptical still. Or the first time I read the book, I was, for sure. Chapter 80, The Beautiful Glitch. I'm sorry if there's sound from the wind. It's kind of windy out here. But I think you can still hear my voice. Deep inside the robot factory, Dr. Malovo was sitting with Rosum Unit 7134. Roz was now just a robotic head, but for the moment her head was all she needed. The robot and the designer had many questions for each other, and they sat there for hours, having conversations like these. "Well, what happened to you on that island?" said Dr. Malovo. "Tell me everything." The robot told her everything. She described how she awoke on a rocky shore and how her only desire was to survive and how difficult life was in that harsh place. "To survive in the wild, I had to become wild," said Roz. "So I studied the wild animals. I mimicked their behavior, and eventually I learned to speak their language." "Incredible," said Dr. Malovo. "You're programmed to learn different languages, and you're programmed to work with animals, but I never imagined you could learn to speak with animals." "Although I could speak to the animals, they still did not trust me," said Roz. "So I tried to win them over with kindness. Animals ran from me and laughed at me and attacked me, and I always responded with kindness. It was a good strategy, but the real key to my survival came in the form of a gosling. When I adopted Bright Bill, everything changed. I was finally accepted by the animals. I was surrounded by friends and family. I was home." "Am I the only wild robot?" said Roz. "I don't know," said Dr. Malovo. "Many defective robots have been returned over the years. It's possible some were like you until we destroyed them." "Will you destroy me?" The woman sighed. "Roz, people are afraid of you. They saw you fleeing through the city and they think you're dangerous. They want to know the danger is gone. And so, when we're finished speaking, I'll have to destroy you." "I am not dangerous," said the robot. "That part of my programming has never failed. Even if I wanted to be violent, I could not." "Have you ever wanted to be violent?" "No. Every problem has a peaceful solution. Violence is unnecessary." "I wish it were that simple," said Dr. Malovo. "It's an amazing time to be alive, but there is still crime. There are still wars. Sometimes violence is unavoidable." "Is that why you have the Ricos?" said Roz. "The Ricos are designed to do all sorts of unpleasant jobs. Some of those jobs require the use of force." "Do you ever worry they might use force against you?" "The Ricos have never given me a single reason to worry," said Dr. Malovo. "But you have." Oh man, my feelings about Dr. Malovo maybe are changing. I can't believe that she's going to have to destroy Roz. "How did you escape from Hilltop Farm?" said Dr. Malovo, leaning forward. Roz didn't answer. "Let me guess. The children helped?" Roz just stared. "They're not in trouble. If I were them, I'd have helped you too." "They are good children," said Roz finally. "And yet you left them," said Dr. Malovo. "Leaving was not easy. I care about everyone. on Hilltop Farm, and I did my best to look after them all. But I did not belong there. And when the children discovered who I really was, they agreed. They wanted me to go home, so they helped me escape. Why do I fear water? Why am I female? Why was my body designed this way? Why does my computer brain know some things and not others? Why? Dr. Malovo laughed. Why do you need all the answers? You programmed me to learn, said Roz. I am simply trying to learn about myself. The woman shifted in her seat. Those questions are more complicated than you realize. There are countless little considerations that go into designing any robot. I have to determine the robot's size and strength and appearance. I have to give the robot the proper programming and computer brain. I have to predict how people will react to the robot. I have to imagine everything that could possibly go wrong. But all my decisions are guided by a single question. What is the robot's purpose? Quietly, Roz asked her designer, what is my purpose? I'm sorry to disappoint you, Roz, but you don't have some grand purpose. Like all the other Rosm robots, you were designed to work for humans. That's it. The robot thought for a moment. Then she said, I once suggested to a group of wild animals that my purpose might simply be to help others. The designer thought for a moment. Then she said, when you put it that way, your purpose does sound rather grand, doesn't it? How would you feel if someone said you could never go home to your family? Asked Roz. Dr. Malovo smirked. Nobody would say that to me. I've spent my whole life creating robots. I never had time for a family. You created me, said Roz. In a way, I am your child and you are my mother. I am not your mother, said Dr. Malovo flatly. I am not your mother, repeated Roz. Those were my very first words to Bright Bill. But I was wrong. The woman stroked her chin. Up on the rooftop before you fell, what were your very last words to Bright Bill? I told him I loved him. I told him I loved him. How do you know your feelings are real? Said the woman. How do you know your feelings are real? Said the robot. Your brain might be defective, said Dr. Malovo, but it certainly is fascinating. I did not choose to be this way, said Roz, but this is who I am. You would be wild too if you had been born and raised in the wilderness. Maybe I am defective. Maybe everything I have experienced is the result of a glitch. But if so, what a beautiful glitch. I have my own thoughts and feelings. I made a life for myself. I have a son. Bright Bill is somewhere out there right now wondering if he will ever see his mother again. Dr. Malovo, you do not have to destroy me. You can fix me and I will return to my island and this city will never see me again. I promise. I just want to go home. Please help me. There were tears in Dr. Malovo's eyes. The old woman had heard enough. Without a word, she reached behind Roz's head and pressed the button. Click. That's the end of the chapter, and I hesitate to show you the next chapter. The meltdown. And we've got this picture here. So, we'll start that tomorrow, not today. Anyway, just be kind. Do something to help your parents out today. And if you've got siblings, be nice to them. Bye.